Peyote Religion by Rachel Reiner. Among the Kiowa, there was the Sene. Among the Comanche, Wokawoye. With the Mescalero, Ho. And with the Tarahumara, Hickory. The traders of the Indian Territory commonly called it Mescal, although it must not be confounded with another Mescal in Arizona, the Agave. The local Mexican name upon the Rio Grande is Peyote, or Pelote, from the old Aztec name Peloto. The Mescalero Apaches take their name from it. It is known as peyote for most Americans, and the peyote is used in a religion called Peyoteism. By looking into a description of details on what is involved with this plant and the religion, we can see how the usage of sacramental food was involved with the past generations of Indians, New World, and the current generations, present day. We will see who will be allowed to use it, and the introduction to the controversy of the usage of the peyote plant, and a more in-depth view into the controversy of the usage of the plant as a sacramental food. The practice of using the peyote plant as a sacramental food in the Native American religion has been around for centuries, and it still is used today despite the controversy involved with it. To begin understanding this Native American religion, we must first look at the plant and the ritual that it's involved in. The plant, Laphophora williamsi, known as peyote to the common tongue, is a type of cactus. The plant is light green and segmented, about 1 to 2 inches across, growing singly or in clusters close to the ground from a long taproot. Peyote is collected or is used by cutting the top pieces of the taproot. These pieces resemble buttons, so the common name, peyote buttons, is used. The plant grows naturally in northern Mexico and southern Texas, mainly in the Chihuahuan Desert, though peyote is also grown by peyoteros, farmers who care for thousands of acres of peyote. They are licensed and monitored by the Texas Department of Public Safety and monitored by the Federal Drug Enforcement Agency. Mexico prevents any harvesting or possession of peyote cactus on its side of the border, although its peyote stocks stretch 300 miles or more. The plant itself has had a history of usage for over 3,000 years old. A Tarahumara Indian peyote ceremony appears in ancient ritualistic carvings preserved in Mesoamerican lava rock. The peyote plant has had many descriptions of its effects from the ancient times to present day. Peyote has hallucinogenic components. When eaten, it tastes bitter and makes one nauseous. Some of the most common effects are hallucinations of the environment around the person looking beautiful, helping them connect to the environment and their God. Others have had experiences of healing and helping heal others who are ill. The plant's involvement with the Native American religion, Peyoteism, for some, Peyoteism is an inspiration to their lives to live on even when disastrous events happen. To live according to its inspiration is to follow the Peyote road of personal dignity and respect for nature and for other people. Those recognized as having the ability to lead others along the path are known as roadmen. These people are usually healers, chiefs, or offspring of the roadmen before. Members help each other follow the road with brotherly love, care for the family, self-reliance, and sobriety. From the Native American Church in Oregon, the weekly ceremonies begin on Saturday night and last until Sunday afternoon. It includes handling of sacred fans, discussing a biblical passage, drinking peyote tea, or chewing peyote buds, asking advice about personal difficulties, and 6 to 8 hours of singing. Every tribe has differences in their rituals and also similarities of how they practice peyoteism. In general, the rite lasts from sunset to sunrise and usually held in a plain-type teepee. The rite has 4 major elements: prayer, singing, eating the sacramental peyote, and contemplation. Most often, the use of peyote is for healing purposes and praying for the ill to become better. In Mexico, the ritual has been practiced for centuries longer than in North America. Peyote hunts were common there. However, no anthropologist ever participated in or observed the peyote hunt until the 1960s, when anthropologists and a Mexican writer were permitted by the Jicaros to accompany several pilgrimages. Once a year, the Jicaros make a sacred trip to gather hickory. The trek is led by an experienced Marakarami, or shaman, who is in contact with Tetereri, our grandfather fire. Tetereri is the oldest Hikaru god, also known as Hikari, the peyote god. He is personified with peyote plants on his hands and feet, and he interprets all the deities to the modern shaman, often through visions, sometimes directly through the Karamine, the sacred seer person and culture hero. Tetereri led the first peyote pilgrimage far from the present area inhabited by the 9,000 Jicaros into Huaycareta, an ancestral region where peyote abounds. Guided by the shaman, the participants, usually 10 to 15 in number, take the identity of defined ancestors as they follow Tetereri to find their life. The peyote hunt is literally a hunt. Pilgrims carry tobacco gourds, a necessity for the journey's ritual. Water gourds are often taken to transport water back from Huaycareta. Often the only food taken for the stay in Huaycareta is tortillas. The pilgrims, however, eat peyote while in Huaycareta. They must travel great distances. Today, much of the trek is done by car, but formerly, the Indians walked some 200 miles. The preparation for gathering peyote involved ritual confession and purification. Public recitation of all sexual encounters must be made, but no show of shame, resentment, or jealousy, nor any expression of hostility occurs. For each offense, the shaman makes a knot in a string which, at the end of the ritual, is burned. Following the confession, the group preparing to set out for the Huaycareta, an area located in San Luis Potosí, must be cleansed before journeying to paradise. Upon arriving within sight of the sacred mountains of Huaycareta, the pilgrims are ritually washed and pray for rain and fertility. Amid the praying and chanting of the shaman, the dangerous crossing into the other world begins. This passage has 2 stages. First, the gateway of the clashing clouds, and second, the opening of the clouds. These do not represent actual localities, but exist only in the geography of the mind. To the participants, the passing from one to the other is an event filled with emotion. Upon arrival at the place where the peyote is to be hunted, the shaman begins ceremonial practices, telling stories from the ancient peyote traditions and invoking protection for the events to come. Those on their first pilgrimage are blindfolded, and the participants are led by the shaman to the cosmic threshold, which only he can see. All stop, light candles, and murmur prayers, while the shaman, imbued with the supernatural forces, chants. Finally, peyote is found. The shaman has seen the deer track. He draws his arrow and shoots the cactus. The pilgrims make offerings to the first hikaru. More peyote is sought, basketfuls of plants eventually being collected. On the following day, more peyote is collected. some of which is to be shared with those who remain at home. The rest is to be sold to the Cora and the Tarahumara Indians, who use peyote but do not have a quest. The ceremony of distributing tobacco is then carried out. Arrows are placed pointing to the 4 points of the compass. At midnight, a fire is built. According to the Hikaru, tobacco belongs to the fire. The shaman prays, placing the tobacco before the fire, touching it with feathers, then distributing it to each pilgrim who wants to put it into his gourd, symbolizing the birth of tobacco. The Hikaru peyote hunt is seen as a return to Wikirta or paradise, the architectural beginning and the end of the mystical past of modern Hikaru and Murakami expressed it as follows: "One day all will be as you have seen it there in Wikirta. The first people will come back. The fields will be pure and crystalline. All this is not clear to me, but in 5 more years I will know it. Through more revelations, the world will end, and the unity will be here again, but only for pure Hikaru." This ritual in Mexico is different than most in North America, and the importance is different for all who participate. Whether that importance be for one's own well-being or for another's, the Hikaru in Mexico has great importance, for it is part of their culture to help collect the peyote for the rest of the Native Americans in Mexico. The peyote is an illegal substance. Normally, persons not having at least 1/4 Native American blood and proof of membership in the Native American Church are in violation of possessing and using peyote. The substance has been listed as a drug on the same level as heroin and marijuana. The Drug Enforcement Administration has made an exception for Indians' religious use. The controversies of this plant and its religious uses have been going on for centuries, beginning with the arrival of the first Europeans to the New World. The Spanish conquerors condemned its use for satanic trickery. In North America, the government was trying to suppress its uses in the late 1800s to the early 1900s. Francis Lafresky, an Omaha Indian, stated against the suppression. "When I went among the Osage people, some of the leaders of the Peyote religion were anxious for me to attend their meetings, and wishing to know what effect this medicine, as they called it, had upon each individual, I accepted the invitation. This meeting, as well as others that I have been permitted to attend, was as orderly as any other religious meeting I have seen in this and other cities. I am thoroughly convinced that these Indians are worshiping God in their own way, and if their religion is interfered by the government or anybody else and is suppressed, the consequences will be grave. I do not know about the medical qualities of peyote, whether it can cure consumption or any other disease that the human flesh is subject to, but there is one disease it has cured, the disease of drunkenness. Particularly all of those of my people who have adopted the peyote plant does much toward destroying the appetite for intoxicants. Moreover, any use of spiritual liquors is forbidden by the teachings of the new religion. I have a respect for the Peyote religion because it has saved my people from the degradation which was produced by use of fiery drinks white people manufactured."